Welcome to Kendall Works. So today I'm going to show you how to utilize a Citrix Netscaler VPX appliance and configure a load balancer. So the first thing you're going to want to do is log into your Netscaler appliance. To do that, you will type in nsroot for the username and nsroot for the password. Once you have logged in, you'll have a screen like this if this is the first time you have configured your Netscaler. You'll need to set up the first three items in order to configure your Netscaler. The first one is the Netscaler IP address. This is the address in which you want to connect to your Netscaler. The second one is the subnet IP address. The subnet IP address is used to communicate with your backend servers. This is typically your management subnet IP. Here I am using 1.30. Typically you would set up a separate managed network that you would utilize with your backend servers. So normally you would have a managed network that is a separate subnet for your Netscaler, as well as a separate subnet that is used to manage your servers, and you would make sure those two could communicate. And then the third item is your DNS IP address, the host name, and the time zone, and you'll just go ahead and fill those in as accordingly. And the last thing here is your license, and if you have a license you can enter it here, otherwise you can go ahead and leave it blank if you're just doing a demo and click continue. So to get started to set up a load balance pair, the first thing you want to do is click on the traffic management. Under the traffic management, there's a virtual servers and services. You'll go ahead and click on that. And underneath that, you'll have your virtual servers. Under the virtual servers, this is where you're going to set up your front-end web server. So this front end is going to be the portal that leads to your back-end web servers that are hosting multiple, actually the same application, but multiple servers that are load balancing that application. So in order to do that, you'll click the Add button. You'll type in SVC, and then we'll go ahead and type in the application name, which in this case we'll do a security camera, and then the protocol, which is HTTP. We'll give it an IP address, and the port is 80 since it is an HTTP load balancer. Disregard that message, that is because this is a demo. The next stage that you're going to want to do is go ahead and create a load balance service group. In order to do that, you'll click the Add button. You'll type in SVG for service group. Again, it's a security camera, HTTP. And here you'll probably want to type some type of description so you know who built this and what date. Alright, and then once you've built your service group, you're going to add your service members. The service members are just going to be your servers that you want tied to that group. In order to do that, you'll go ahead and click Add, and you will type in SVR. In this case, it's a Windows server, and it's a HTTP. IP address of your server, and again, who built it, and the date that you built this. Alright, and then you want to select that server that you just built, and you want to make sure it's communicating on port 80, and that's all you have to do. So you've now tied your server to your service group. And then the next thing you're going to want to do is add a monitor. This monitor is to monitor traffic. And in this particular case, because this is an HTTP server, we're going to want to monitor HTTP traffic. So we'll go ahead and select that. Keep the default weight of 1, and then click Bind. Now you have a service group member, which contains your servers, a service group monitor, which is going to monitor HTTP traffic for your service group. We're going to go ahead and click Done. And then the last thing you're going to want to do is click on your service group that we went ahead and created with your monitor and with your servers, and then click select. And then we're going to go ahead and bind that to our load balance virtual server. And then you can see that we have the one load balance virtual service group here. So everything looks good, and you'll click continue. And then it looks good, so we'll go ahead and hit done. And it does show down, down, and with a 1.40 address. Don't be alarmed by this. You have to refresh that. And here's the refresh button. Okay, once you've hit refresh, it's showing that both are up and up. Now, your backend server normally is 192.168.1.2. Oh, HTTP, sorry. Okay, so that obviously works. But now we want a front end. So if you're coming through a firewall, as an example, and you need a front end to load balance this, if you had multiple servers set up, you'd want to use this address here. And as you can tell, it works just fine, and we'll log in just to prove that it works. And there you go. You're into your security camera system that we set up. So that is all that it takes to set up a load balance virtual server. Now, if you want to disable this service for whatever reason, let's say you're doing maintenance, you can simply come to your virtual server under your traffic management. You can select the virtual server that you want to take out of service, and you can disable it. You want to go ahead and click yes. This license is going to come up just because we're in demo mode. In a normal license environment, you would not receive this message. Go ahead and click OK. I always click the refresh button just to make sure. And as you can tell, it is out of service. Now, to test this, if we were to go to 192.168.1.2, we are still able to get to this server. That's because this is the back-end web server. But we took out the front end where users would come if they were coming from externally outside your organization and wanted to hit this front end. So if we were to type in 192.168.1.40, that's cached information. I can guarantee it because I'll hit F5 and refresh, and it should time out. There you go. So if I was to type in 40 again, hit enter, it's going to pull up the cached information. But if I was to type it in and try and log into the server, it doesn't take it. So as you can tell, this is just cached information in my local web browser. So we'll go ahead and close that out. And you can tell that this is functioning as intended. Now, if you need to put it back in service, you would simply come back to your virtual servers, select the service group that you want, and go ahead and click enable. As you can tell, it's up already. Now, if we were to go back to that website, and we were going to log in, it would then allow us. So as you can tell, the service load balancer is now back in service. And that is basically all there is to it to set up a virtual load balancer and the steps that you would take in order to enable or disable that load balancer. Hope you guys learned something, and appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you.